Welcome to Patriot Roots, sponsored by the Wyeth Chapter, National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Today we are going to talk about Continental Congress and some of the personal pages that serve at the Continental Congress. Every year, Daughters of the American Revolution have a Continental Congress, and it's back in Washington, D.C., and they have people to support the people that are there. And so all over the United States, well, maybe even more than that, are these people that are attending, and then some of them are lucky enough to have personal pages to help them through the whole process. And today we have Julie Riendeau. She is a member of Alice Whitman chapter, but she was a personal page to the President General in 2009. And we're going to hear all about her experiences. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just excited about this. But before we get started, let's hear a little bit about you.
Well, I am a third-generation DAR member, and that means that both my mother and my grandmother have been involved with the society. Currently, I hold two state titles. One of those is the protocol chairman, and I also hold a co-chair for the junior membership committee. So those are state positions, and then I also hold 3 chapter positions for Alice Whitman. I do our newsletter, which is one position. I am also co-historian, and then I'm also co-chair for the junior membership committee for our chapter as well.
Okay. Now, let's see. I think we know what historian is, but what does the protocol chair do?
So that is a state position, and there are a lot of duties, sometimes even duties that aren't well defined and happen rather randomly. But for the most part, I help assist planning the entire state society meeting, our conference, and then I also help with arrangements for the order of processing, and I help with assigning seating for the different banquets and meals. When we have special guests that are invited by our state regent, they do have certain places that they need to sit in order to acknowledge their honor within our membership.
So you have a lot of reading to do here.
I do.
Because this is all written down, right? And you have to figure it out.
It is, but it's written in several different places, and so there's a lot of research, and this is my first term being involved as protocol chairman for the state. So I've had great leadership by the former position holder, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. The other thing that goes right in with that role is to lead and mentor all of the pages for our state society conference. So that's also a big job.
Oh, yes. And then what's the junior role that you serve?
The junior committee is responsible for several things. Juniors are the specific age group of women that join our organization, and juniors are aged between 18 and 40. So it's kind of the first step in joining the society at any point. And juniors do a lot of things like sponsor activities. It's a way to really encourage the junior members to become involved and get engaged with the society, understand what there is involved with DAR. My first, I guess, uninformed view of DAR was that of working with veterans and attending different the parades and handing out flags and different types of events and handing out flags and information on our Constitution, things like that. But there's so much more involved. And that's why the junior membership committee exists, is to really engage the juniors. The other side to that is that the junior membership is responsible for sales of the different logo items. So notebooks, jewelry, checkbook covers, just trying to think of some of our other...
So maybe this notebook right here?
This is exactly.
Okay.
And one of the kinds of things that, that we sell through that committee, and 100% of the profits that come from those different sales items go to support the Helen Pouch Memorial Fund. And that fund is responsible for funding 100% two of our schools. So the Tomassi School and then the Kate Duncan School as well. So these are schools that are wonderful and provide excellent opportunities for children that wouldn't otherwise have opportunities for a fantastic education.
Well, it sounds like the junior committee is very active and has an important role in the Daughters of the American Revolution.
We absolutely do. Absolutely. That's the future of our entire society.
Well, good, and I'm so happy that you're in charge of that. That's great. Great to have you on board with that. But let's get back to this personal page business.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so first of all, who is the President General?
The President General is the top of the organization, and it's an international organization. We have more than more than 3,000 chapters at this point, more than 650,000 members, and it's not just in the United States, because these are women that can prove their lineage all the way back to the American Revolution, and people absolutely move after.
So it might be somebody that lived in the United States, or at least their relatives did, and then they moved to Canada or England or Australia or wherever.
Or Africa, absolutely, absolutely. So from all over the United States.
And the President General is the head, just like our President of the United States.
That's
the President
right.
General is the main person.
Right. But while she is the main person, there is an executive board, just like we have in the United States, that works with her. And there are rules that and protocol that have to be voted on just like that. So she's got a complete cabinet that supports her as well, an executive committee.
Okay. And what is a personal page?
A personal page is a lot of things, but first and foremost, the responsibilities are to attend to every need that the President General has during the conference. And there are a lot of things involved with that, from carrying her personal belongings, her purse or evening bag, making sure that there's water at the podium when she rises to speak, making sure that the microphone is working at the podium, making sure that her agenda and her speaking points are open to the right page. So all of those kinds of things, as well as when she processes and walks anywhere. There are 4 personal pages with her, and the personal pages flank her on all sides. So it's not a matter of keeping her from interacting with the public and with the General Assembly as she's walking from place to place, but rather to keep her on schedule. Because it's very easy to stop and have a conversation about something very specific, but there is almost zero time for that.
So you're really not bodyguards, you're just move along guards.
We are, in that capacity, absolutely.
Okay. And how does a person become a personal page?
The only way to become a personal page is by personal invitation from the President General. And I attended to Linda Gist Calvin at our State Society conference that was held the previous year. She was our guest at that specific event, and during the course of that conference, she asked me to be her personal page. So that's the only way to become a personal page to the President General. The interesting thing is there's a lot to think about when she's making the decisions on who she wants in that role, because there are 13 personal pages, and that represents the 13 colonies that were a part of the United States of America when we were first formed. But she has to consider the personalities, because we work very closely. We work very long days and sometimes long nights too. Not a whole lot of sleep, not a whole lot of breaks, but everyone has to be able to get along even when we're tired.
Mm-hmm. And so she has 13 personal pages. The President General has 13 personal pages.
That's correct.
Why would she need so many?
Well, we're not on all at the same time. There are usually 4 on duty at any given time. Her events range from 6 o'clock in the morning, attending different breakfasts and things like that, all the way up until almost 11 o'clock at night. So in order for the pages to maintain an attempt to have a bright, shiny smile, we work in shifts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, does she try to attend all the breakfasts? I know that Idaho had a breakfast at Continental Congress this last year.
Mm-hmm. It's not only breakfast, it's teas, and it's also events hosted by the schools, like I mentioned, and a lot of the committees have teas or banquets or different special events. But she tries to attend everything. And it may be as simple as her walking in, stepping up onto the platform or podium, and giving formal greetings, and then she's gone. So, and that can occur at any point in time during any of those different breakfasts or teas or events or anything like that.
So, Julie, just so that we kind of have an understanding, okay, there's a breakfast, everybody is sitting down and maybe even eating, because she might come in the middle of it.
Absolutely.
What happens?
So as soon as the doors open, and it's the personal page job to open the door, we enter. The entire assembly would stand and clap to greet her. We walk in, and at that point, if she's carrying anything, it's handed to a personal page. The personal page then goes, if there's a short flight of stairs or anything like that, to get to the raised platform where they have their speakers. It's up to us to make sure that we offer a hand, up to us to make sure that we're lifting up the bottom of her skirt so that she doesn't trip. Yeah. Everything is very, very graceful, and our job as a personal page at that point is to help her look and be her best. So she goes up, gives a greeting, walks down, and then that's it. We're on to the next event.
Well, it sounds like you have to anticipate problems.
You do, absolutely, absolutely. One of the rules for the pages also is that we were not to carry a handbag or a personal purse or anything like that. And we also had to wear gloves, white gloves, as a part of our outfit. And so we learned very quickly that we can hide her lipstick on the inside of our glove. That's a need between events as well.
You've got her lipstick.
Yes, and our own.
Oh, I was going to say, because you kind of have to look kind of perky too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that we're talking about Continental Congress, but just so that the audience understands, is there any other time that a personal page is required to serve other than the Continental Congress?
Absolutely. So state conferences, whenever the President General would attend a state conference, that's another place where a personal page would attend to the President General. But
probably not the same one. Might you be at one and then be at the same?
Probably not. Probably not, just because within the junior organization, one of the contests within that organization is to be recognized as the outstanding junior. And in order to even qualify for that competition or that contest, you have to earn points in several different categories. And one of the categories where you can earn points is to be a page, serve as a page. So that's something that needs to be spread equally among the different pages, and I don't know if someone is served in both capacities, but I would imagine for that simple reason that there wouldn't.
Because they want to spread it around.
Right. Everyone needs the opportunity to earn points for their outstanding junior contest.
Sure. How much time is really involved in being a page? You know, like days or weeks or?
Well, there was a lot of preparation that I did. The outfits that we wore were completely white. That is part of the national bylaws. And pages wear all white so that the entire membership of an attendee group of the conference can identify a page quickly and easily. There are all sorts of different types of pages, and different pages have different types of information, but they're in white so that they're easily recognized. So, as white isn't one of my favorite colors to wear, I did have some shopping to do, and that was pretty much centrally, the task was buying white dresses.
White, and white.
White, and more white. And they have to be dresses, no pants, no slacks. And it's difficult to find a white dress and formal that don't look like wedding dresses. So that was a challenge. I had about 1.5 years to prepare, and it took that and then some. I had a lot of support from not only my mom, but also from our state society in that as well. So that took a long time to really pull together.
1.5 years, huh? And then your mom went with you, though.
She did, and that was probably the most important part of what I was doing, because really a page needs a page. You need someone to make sure that you're up in time and you're at the right place at the right time for your duty, and if you're too tired, you get a nap, or can I run and get you a snack, or, you know, let's remember to eat in the middle of all this excitement. So.
Well, and somebody like your mom helping would be noticing if, oh, you've got a spot on this dress, we can't wear this, or something like that too.
Right, and she was up with me almost, well, she was up earlier because she was there pressing my dresses before I left the hotel. So.
Bless her heart.
Oh, I have a great mom.
Well, you know, I see here, Julie, that we have a banner. Now, did you have to wear that all the time?
Yes, when you're on duty. So this is a sash.
Okay, and we'll just hold it this way.
Yep.
So that they can see, first of all. Oh, that's
so
how it
it's
goes.
worn like this.
Okay.
And
it says personal page to the President General of NSDAR. Okay.
Right. And this one is one of the most special that's available to pages because it has gold lettering. And the gold lettering is an immediate identification tool for everyone else because of the gold. The other pages wore sashes that were white but had different color lettering, and also identified them as to what role in terms of a page they played.
Okay, so only the President General's personal pages have gold?
Correct.
Okay, okay, and that's a beautiful sash.
It's a keepsake.
Sure, great, great. You know, we've kind of talked about your uniform, quote unquote, everything was white, but so dresses, no pants, gloves, anything, shoes?
Shoes, hose. Well, hose could be, you know, nude colored,
okay,
but
yeah.
or skin
colored, yeah.
But shoes, all shoes had to be white. Again, it's difficult to find white shoes that are comfortable, all of that stuff, because you're on your feet the entire time. Very few exceptions to being on your feet when you're on duty.
Now, coat, sweater?
Well, the Continental Congress is held in Washington, D.C. each summer at the very beginning of July. Sweater, coat, isn't really required in that temperature.
Isn't even needed, huh?
No, no, and you really don't have time in any specific area where you're chilled. But a few of them did have a light sweater, but it had to be white.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, so that's basically your uniform. And are there other types? I mean, you've kind of talked about it, but kind of name what the other pages. You're the personal page to the President General. What other kinds of pages would we maybe see?
So one of the other that is most recognizable at the very beginning of each business session is, actually, I'm sorry, it's at the beginning of each major event. They do what's called a flag ceremony. And so you could have a flag page. And each state has a flag that is carried by a flag page. And these are about 6 feet tall, much like the flags that we have behind us. But it's not just the 50 states. It's pretty much every nation, because that's how big we are. And the flags process in from the back of the Constitution Hall, and then they make a broad sweep up the platform and around the back, and all of them end up as a backdrop to the podium and the area where the speakers for that session or event are seated. So that's a big one. Then you have door pages, because during business sessions the doors must be closed and cannot be opened unless the President General indicates that they need to be opened for a break, something along those lines. So the pages are on both sides of the doors, inside and out, maintaining that bylaw that we have, that those doors are closed.
Do they have to give a little secret knock that we can, because if there's a page on each side, one might be trying to open it, then
right.
that could cause a problem.
There is. Absolutely.
Did you ever get to know the knock?
I didn't, because I wasn't a door page.
Darn. Okay, so we have the flag page, the door page.
Right, and then each state is represented by their state regent, and those state regents have the option to bring or request a personal page to attend to them. Then there are also special guests invited to different sessions, different events, performers, entertainers. So each of those special guests is assigned a page to attend to their needs while included in the Congress and the events as well. And also each of the national committee members has the option to have a page attend to them. That's just a few. The only other one I can think of right off the top of my head is a platform page. And they make sure that, well, for starters, as guests are coming up to the podium, there's about 5 steps on either side. And most of the sessions, women are in long gowns or long dresses if they're going to be addressing the President General, speaking to the entire assembly. So, in order to maintain our graceful appearance and graceful entrance from those steps, there are pages that are kneeling on either side, all the way down those steps on either side. And their job is to pick up the hems of your formal or your skirt, your dress, as you're walking up so that you don't trip.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really neat, but that's such an important job.
All of these things are very important, and in any event, the page's job is to maintain that very high level of grace and formal proceeding that our constitutional hall represents. So, absolutely.
So, Julie, where do you stay? Where do you eat? I mean, do you have? I hope you have time to eat and sleep.
Thanks to Mom, I did. I had a lot of help. The official hotel is the JW Marriott. That's right there, and it's about 3 blocks away. But in order, a direct line, as the crow flies, you are walking directly in front of the White House. So and that's not someplace that vehicles can drive. So there are buses that take you back and forth, or you can walk. And the walk takes much less time than a bus ride or even a taxi or a private car. But it's a big hotel, and they have excellent conference rooms in the bottom floor where a lot of the different teas and breakfasts and different events are held. So while the JW Marriott is the official hotel for the event, there are many more women that attend than can possibly fit in that one hotel. So we pretty much take over about, I'd say, 15 hotels in the immediate vicinity.
Is that right?
That's right.
Whoa.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
So Julie, you've been a page. Would you be a page again if you had the chance?
It was a wonderful opportunity, and at this point, my interests with DAR go a lot deeper, and I would, if I were to attend Continental Congress again, I would be much more interested to be on the assembly side so that I could be really focused on the reports that are given and the future activities that are planned and what has just been accomplished within each committee. And so while I think it's an excellent opportunity and I enjoyed it, I'm not sure that I would at this point.
So maybe once is enough.
For me it was, but that really was the springboard for me personally, getting engaged and being active in the society. So other junior members need the opportunity to get the points for their outstanding junior contest.
You know, what we didn't talk about, Julie, was who pays for all this? I mean, we're talking, if you had to prepare for a year and a half and have all these outfits, formals, day wear, you know, who pays for all this?
Well, we're a volunteer society, so it does come out of pocket. Now, I had a lot of support from not only from my own chapter, but also from our state society. As soon as I made the decision to accept the invitation to be the personal page, there were fundraisers and all sorts of different things in all 9 chapters in our state society. So it's not only the outfits and the clothing, while that does seem overwhelming, it's also airfare and hotel and meals, and hopefully you can squeeze a little bit of fun in while you're in Washington, D.C. too. So it's definitely an expense, and that is for the most part out of pocket, unless you have major supporters.
And that's good to know. That's good to know that that's part of the commitment. You know, we're almost out of time. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to speaking at your chapter meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us. And audience, I hope that you have learned a little bit more about what a personal page does at Continental Congress. I'm Verna Pittman for Patriot Roots.